我本是女娇娥，又不是男儿郎。
男儿郎，又不是女娇娥。
This line comes from Chen Kaige's Farewell My Concubine, a 1993 film that used Peking opera to explore the conflict between political appeal and personal identity. Through stylized performance and rich visual, it mourns the loss of intimacy, identity, and artistic freedom in 20th century China. Framed by the Cultural Revolution, this video essay explains how the film revolves the personal and cultural sacrifice imposed by authority rule. At the beginning of the film, Die Yi, born into poverty, is sent by his prostitute mother to a harsh Peking opera school, where violence is the primary method of instruction. Because of his delicate appearance, young Die Yi is assigned to play Dan roles, which means the female characters in the traditional opera. Under this traditional and repressive system, Die Yi is forced to submit the demands of the master. To survive, he transforms his impossible gender performance into something he internalized. He does not just play a woman, he becomes her. Later on, the action of slapping himself for not being able to completely switch gender and the action of having his throat tied with a pipe by his senior brother Xiaolou are not just punishment, but a strugglation of Die's male consciousness over and over again. The desire to survive in a difficult world completely distorts Die's life and creates the beginning of his identity as a core, which is the beginning of his tragedy. These signs also foreshadow the authoritarian control that shapes all performance, both on and off stage. Thus, the Peking opera stage in Farewell My Concubine is not merely a backdrop. It functions as a crucible in which the nation shapes bodies and identities. The film's narrative begins in the training grounds of a Peking Opera Academy, where children undergo harsh discipline under the slogan of tradition and obedience. The camera lingers on signs of corporal punishment and recitation drills, emphasizing how performance becomes a mechanism of bodily control. In Sheldon H. Lu's 1977 work, it explains in detail how China's historical context has shaped the contents of both art and identity. Within the film, Peking opera indeed serves as a mechanism for producing national identity, where performers are expected to sacrifice individuality in service of prescribed roles in nationality's ideals. The visual aesthetic of the film as the most powerful toy to support the narrative has many hidden mysteries in the visual. Director Chen Kaige used a lot of symmetrical framing and deep colors in the building. Of this, the color red dominates. It symbolizes both love.
今儿个是姑奶奶定亲的喜日子。
Revolution. Separation. And life. Framing is also a key part of the film's visual language. In this sign, two close-up shots of Die Yi and Xiaolou are shown in succession, both at the same distance. But in the background of each shot, we see the others framed reflecting in a mirror. The mirror becomes a visual metaphor for self-reflection and ambiguous intimacy, subtly hinting at the tension between them. The director then transitioned to a wide, symmetrical shot, visually emphasizing the growing distance between two characters who were once equals. It's a subtle and elegant use of composition to express emotional divide. Returning to the main body of the movie's content, it shows us in its entirety the notion that even as regimes change, the opera remains the same. But this constancy makes a deeper truth. Tradition and regime are reduced to toy of operation, reinvented to fit each new ideology. Under Japanese occupation, nationalities rule and eventually communities rule. Peking opera remained, but was already all the time to serve each region. For example, when the Red Guards attacked the Peking opera troupe during the Cultural Revolution, the theater was no longer a place of refuge, but a place of ideological cleansing. The regime has always enjoyed absolute dominance. The Cultural Revolution also pushes the movie to an emotional breaking point. At the public criticism meeting, 小楼 denounced 蝶衣。
程蝶衣，他是只管唱戏呀，他不管台下坐的什么人，什么阶级，他都卖力的唱，他玩命的唱，他就给日本侵略者唱堂会，他就当了汉奸。
Under the gaze of Maoist ideology, love is reduced to a yoke of survival. This betrayal is not only personal, but soulful and political. Under authoritarian rule, any otherwise scared feeling or object is compromised or scarified in the face of survival issue, bringing out the ugly side of human nature. Scholar Liu Kang calls the situation that post-political, which means all private things are not immune to public ideology. Finally, the movie is framed by a scene in which Tie commits suicide while playing Yu Ji, allowing Tie to complete her self-deliverance. Farewell, My Concubine is a romantic meditation on identity, survival, relationship, and power. The violence and gore of the record is consolidated in beautiful visual image and poignant storyline, and the film of the post-1960 period are more or less scarred by history, but at the same time offer a visual language of mourning and defiance. For Tie Yi, the stage is both refugee and present. It made him and killed him. And for the audience, it comes the mirror reflecting the close connection between art and politics.